Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Today is a new day, new day, new day. And I can see a new way, new way, a new way. It's gonna be good, gonna be good, gonna be good. 'Cause everything is new today. Today's made of softly, softly, softly. And I can shape it my way, my way, my way. It's gonna be good, gonna be good, gonna be good. 'Cause everything is new today.
Gets to sit down and take it easy. Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces. My name is Jennifer Kleitz and I am your practitioner in service. The vision for the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces is a world in loving partnership for the good of all. I would like to welcome anyone who is new to the center for the first time today. Please help yourself to a packet of information which can be found on the table near the exit. Please ensure that your phones are on vibrate or silent. We want to thank everyone who helped at the Ren Fair. It was a very successful day with lots of fun and service and community. We are preparing for some more events. The ongoing event of the coats that are available for donations or for bring one or give one. They're out in the social hall. If you have any that you can part with, please bring them to the center. Thank you so much. December 5th, the center will be celebrating our birthday after service, so please stay tuned for more information as the date draws closer. You can get information about all of the events happening at the center from the newsletter, including the upcoming rug auction, which is this weekend. It's a benefit for the Foundation for Las Cruces Museums. If you'd like more information about that, you can see me after service. Thank you. We believe in the power of prayer, which we call spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. You can fill out a prayer request that can be found in the seat, the pocket in the seat around you. And you can put the prayer request in the God can, which is found in the back of the room, or in the offering plate as you leave the sanctuary. And you can also put in a prayer request on our website using the prayer request button. Or you can see a practitioner after service for a quick prayer today. Our prayer team is made up of practitioners and ministers from the 4 local New Thought communities, and they pray with you in regard to your request. Now is the time for song, silence, and prayer.
Full. In this moment, I am full. Full is this moment. Full, full. This moment is what I am. Blessed in this moment, I am blessed. Blessed is this moment. Blessed, blessed, blessed. This moment is what I am. In this moment, I am still. Still is this moment. Still, still, still. This moment is what I am.
I know and affirm the power and the presence of divine intelligence, Mother, Father, God, that which is everywhere present, all-knowing, all-powerful, creating from itself everything seen and unseen. Abundance and prosperity, love and peace, harmony and joy. All this and more is the divine intelligence that is Mother, Father, God. Creating from itself, we are a creation of that Mother, Father, God Spirit, one with it. We are part of its wholeness, its completeness. We are expressing that love and peace and harmony and power as we experience our wholeness in every breath we take. And that power and that presence is with us today. The words from Reverend Bonnie and the music from Randy and Marilyn and our community today, our feelings, our words, the notes of the music, it is all that one presence and power, and we are grateful. For this and so much more, I do give thanks. And so it is. The reading this morning is from the Science of Mind text. How to approach the Spirit. If we wish to come to the Spirit for the healing of our wounds, let us come in peace and with spontaneous joy, for the Spirit is joy. Let us come with thanksgiving also. For a thankful heart is in harmony with life. But we must come in quiet confidence with an open and receptive mind, a believing heart, naturally, sanely, and expectantly. In this way, we are entering the portals of reality, clad in the garments of righteousness. And from the section, Constant Prayer. In everything give thanks. An attitude of gratitude is most salutary and bespeaks the realization that we are now in heaven, how we love to do for those who cooperate with us, and are grateful for our small endeavors. Gratitude is one of the chief graces of human existence and is crowned in heaven with a consciousness of unity.
Happy people don't cheat. Happy people don't lie. They don't judge or hold a grudge. They don't criticize. Happy people don't hate. Happy people don't steal. 'Cause all the hurt sure ain't worth all the guilt they feel. If you wanna know a secret, you can't buy it, gotta make it. And you ain't never gonna be it by taking someone else's away. Never take it for granted. You don't have to understand it. Here's to whatever puts a smile on your face. Whatever makes you happy, people. Happy people don't fail. Happy people just learn. Don't think they're above the push and shove. They just wait their turn. They always got a hand or a dollar to spare. They know the golden rule of what you're going through, even if they've never been there. So if you want to know the secret, you can't buy it, gotta make it. And you ain't never gonna be it by taking someone else's away. Never take it for granted. You don't have to understand it. Here's to whatever puts a smile on your face. Whatever makes you happy, people. These days ain't always easy to find. The ones that you want standing by your side. No time for greed. If they need some, give them a slice. And we'll all be happy people. Life is short and love is rare. And we all deserve to be happy while we're here.
So, Spirit is amazing. Last night, we were getting a concert from Kay on her ukulele, and she sang that song, and I said, I think Mary Lynn and Randy play that. And I thought, what a perfect song for today. And they did it. Look at Randy. I'm serious. I am not kidding you. Isn't that the way Spirit works? So we're all up here laughing, going, well, that's exactly what I was thinking would be perfect.
She probably didn't screw it up as much as we just did, though.
Well, no, I mean, I didn't even notice that it was screwed up. I was just laughing that here we are, Spirit once again, giving us the song that we were talking about just last night. Okay, so good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Bonnie, the community spiritual leader here at the center, and I love the way Spirit works. We are moving into a new month, November, and we're looking at the idea of we stand in gratitude. And so I was thinking about gratitude, and I know for most of us, I think everybody probably has some sort of great gratitude practice that you do already. You might keep a gratitude journal. Some of you, yes, a few. There we go, okay. You might review your day and think about, before you go to sleep, everything you're grateful for. Many of us say thanks before we eat a meal. We're grateful for that meal. And when we do treatment, gratitude or thanksgiving is that second to the last step. We're already grateful for whatever it is that we are putting out there into the universe, seeing it manifest already in the mind of God. So we move into gratitude as we do our treatment work, our prayer work. So I know that everyone here has heard on some level or another the importance of gratitude in our lives and the importance of gratitude for our spiritual practice. And I do have to say, though, for me, this last year, moving into gratitude has been a real challenge a lot of the times. And it's been downright hard, so much so that I found something on the internet and I tried to find its source and I couldn't, so I apologize for that. But I wrote it out and I put it somewhere where I could see it every morning and made myself read through it during some of the hardest times just to see if it would help shift me into a space of gratitude for the day. So it says, I start my day with gratitude. With gratitude, I remember the people, animals, plants, insects, creatures of the sky and sea, air and water, fire and earth, all those whose joyful exertion blesses my life every day. With gratitude, I remember the care and labor of 1,000 generations of elders and ancestors who came before me. I offer my gratitude for the safety and well-being I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the blessings of the earth I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the measure of health I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the community I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the teachings and lessons I have been given. I offer my gratitude for the life I have been given. And then there's a line where you can fill in the blank. I offer my gratitude for that I have been given. And so it is. So I read that every morning to help myself shift into that space of gratitude. And I started thinking about gratitude for this month, and I don't know if you noticed, but all of that was about what I have been given, what I have experienced, what is showing up in my life. And I started thinking about, well, what happens inside of us when the good shows up in someone else's life? When someone else has the perfect relationship that we've always wanted. When someone else has accomplished their goals and has become what they want to become, maybe something we've always wanted to be or always wanted to do. What happens inside us when we're seeing good show up for someone else? Do we get a little green? Is there a little pang of envy? Or do we and can we feel grateful for them? This month, Science of Mind magazine has an article about Jericho Brown, and I was reading through this article and got stopped by this sentence. It is impossible for us to be consumed by the so-called competitive nature of our art when we are finding ways to be happy for our comrades. This is a spiritual exercise. And when I read that idea of being happy for our comrades, it was like a whole lot of stuff came flowing through, and I started writing what I wanted to share for this morning, finding ways to be happy for our comrades. I kept thinking about that, and I got a bigger book, so it doesn't fit up here real good. I realized as I thought about that my gratitude practice needed to be bumped up a notch. In life, and I think in New Thought and on the way we teach things, we can become very me-focused. We talk about change your thinking, change your life, but what we're talking about is that if I change my thinking, I can change my life. We talk about a world that works for everyone, but I have an idea that most of us visualize that world working the way we want to see it work. And we teach, and the truth is that we can only change ourselves. We can't change anyone else. When we teach how we do treatment and what treatment does, we're treating for ourselves. We're treating for that truth within ourselves on behalf of someone else, possibly, if they've asked us to treat for them. But the work is being done in us, on us. In fact, Ernest Holmes says on page 358 in the Science of Mind text, we comprehend the infinite only to the degree that it expresses itself through us, becoming to us that which we believe it to be. So we daily practice in our meditations the realization of life, and he puts a quote here, infinite indwelling spirit within me, Almighty God within me, real substance within me, that which is truth within me. He goes on to say, Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one cometh unto the Father but by me. Holmes's interpretation, how true this is. We cannot come unto the Father which art in heaven except through our own nature. Right here, through our own nature is the gateway and the path which leads to illumination, to realization, to inspiration, and to the intuitive perception of everything. So what he's teaching and what we teach is that all of that we do, the prayer work, the good, what we experience, it's moving in and through us. But the second step then is to realize that what's happening in me is happening in every other single person, every single one of you out there. That I realize that that truth that is true for me, that universal truth, is true for every one of you. So we're back to that concept then of oneness. The idea that what's going on for me, how God works in my life, is also true for how it works in you. So in November, we start to move into what we call the holiday season, because there are so many holidays practiced by so many people between now and the end of the year. And what we see during this holiday season, especially if we're looking at TV or movies or even walking down the halls of our stores, we're seeing pictures of and examples of those perfect families. Those families whose issues are resolved within an hour to an hour and a half. Those families who have time together, quality time, enjoying each other. Families that still have children to celebrate with. Families that have tables laden with food, those lavish gifts that are exchanged. And it's often hard when we see this, even if we're just imagining it as we walk down the store aisles, seeing the different foods that are starting to come on the shelves. It's easy to start wanting what they have. It's easy to start comparing what I have to what they have, what I've done to what they've done, what they've accomplished. Or as we sometimes say, to start comparing the inside of my life to the appearance and the outside of someone else's life. So those of us who were raised in a Judeo-Christian tradition have heard of the 10 Commandments. And the 10th commandment is, thou shalt not covet. And covet means to yearn for, to yearn to possess or to have a strong desire for. And if you want to know specifically what we're not supposed to covet, you can read Exodus 20:13 from the Hebrew Scriptures. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Well, I grew up hearing that. I grew up learning what the 10 Commandments were. So I took on the belief, when I heard that the way we were meant to be in the world was free from wanting, free from envy, free from jealousy. We weren't to covet what other people had. And then the reality hits, though, when he or she has something that I want and I don't have it. How do I stay free from wanting or envy or jealousy? Bless you. So when I read that sentence that said, that I should be seeking, or that they seek happiness for their comrades, that really struck me. And I started to think about, what would it be like if I noticed what my neighbor has and I allowed myself to move into gratitude for them, to move into happiness for them, for whatever it is, for what they have, for what they've done, for what they've accomplished. And if I could allow myself to truly fill with gratitude, to feel that gratefulness, to genuinely shift into happiness for my comrades. What if I took our oneness teaching to heart and saw their gain as my gain too, and was able to feel grateful for that, to open myself to that happiness and gratitude for them along with them, to really allow myself to feel it. And as I would start to imagine that, I realized I had a smile on my face every time. And so I realized that I was moving into a space of joy just imagining it. The last sentence in our reading today said, "Gratitude is one of the chief graces of human existence and is crowned in heaven with a consciousness of unity." And I still wonder, what exactly does that mean? What is he saying? What is the relationship between gratitude and unity? How is the consciousness of unity the crown of gratitude? And then again, I started to get the aha as I was contemplating all this. Through the true understanding of unity, our unity consciousness, we can actually expand our gratitude to include gratefulness to what's showing up for other people. We can truly become happy for our comrades. And that, I think, is the crown of glory, so to speak. That's the crown of our awareness, our unity consciousness. So when was the last time you felt grateful for what showed up in somebody else's life, for what somebody else accomplished? Now, I know when my children did things, when they were able to achieve something or met a goal or had something better than I had in my life, I could feel lots of gratitude and pride for them. But what about if it's somebody else's children? And then the thought came to me, well, we are all God's children. And then from the Bible, again, the Hebrew scriptures, it is God's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. And so for a moment of sort of anthropomorphizing God in a way that we don't normally do, I started thinking about, well, God is pleased when we receive. So then I moved into the metaphysical idea, is the God in me pleased when another expression of God receives? So again, from our reading, it says, "In everything give thanks. An attitude of gratitude is most salutary and bespeaks the realization that we are now in heaven." And then it dawned on me, now in heaven. Is this how we create heaven on earth? To truly be able to feel gratitude for what good is showing up in everyone's life, not just my own. As a child, I had a family that I grew up with that I've shared about before, and they had 5 kids, and we had 2. So altogether, there were 7 of us kids that often went camping together and celebrated holidays together. And when we were camping, M&Ms were a treat that we were given. And when we were little, they'd count out about 5 M&Ms, and every one of us got 5. As we started to get older, the rule was no counting your M&Ms. We're giving you a handful, and we don't want to hear, well, he got 6, and I only got 5. They said if we started counting our M&Ms, no M&Ms. So I started looking at my life, and I started thinking about what showed up in my life, what I've been able to do and accomplish, and asked myself, am I counting the M&Ms that life has given me? Am I comparing the M&Ms that I have to somebody else's M&Ms that they've been given in life? Or am I actually taking the M&Ms that life has given me, and am I able to savor each one and give thanks for it and the fact that it's shown up in my life? And then, am I able to take that practice of gratitude up a notch and look at the M&Ms that are in your hand and see their beautiful colors and imagine how yummy they taste and feel grateful for you? that you have those in your life. Do I and can I feel grateful or happy when something good shows up in the life of someone else? What goes on in me when someone else gets that parking space? What goes on in me when somebody gets ahead of me in line? What goes on in me when someone pulls up to the gas pump that I was aiming for? And my biggest challenge right now, what goes on in me when I see other people enjoying their children? So how can I shift into gratitude, to feeling grateful? And when I pictured each one of those events and pictured moving into gratitude for that person instead of frustration or anger that they get something that I didn't get or that I wanted, as I pictured myself shifting into gratitude, I could ask myself, how does my experience change when I do that? What's going on in me that shifts? And I want to note that it's not me up here asking you those questions as this minister who's had this great experience with this practice, because this is not the case. These are questions that came to me just in the last few weeks as I started contemplating this talk and contemplating how gratitude works in our lives. So these are questions that Spirit was presenting to me as to how it is that I might be able to shift my experience in the world by moving and allowing myself to move into gratitude, that I could bump up my experience of gratitude by expanding it. So as we all move into the holiday season here, a season when there's a stark awareness of who gets things and who has things and who has which M&Ms and how many, and those that maybe don't have as many, I invite you to join me in this practice of seeing what others have and moving into gratitude and see how that feels. Let's share with each other when we're able to do that. What is the change that comes in our own experience? So I've shared also throughout this last year that one of the things I've been seeking in each day are those moments of joy. Because my goal has been for years to experience joy, and again, I've shared this with you ever since Reverend Sam said, if you're not experiencing joy, you're not in alignment with God. I've really been working at allowing joy in my life and experiencing it, and so this year, the goal was just to find those moments of joy. And so to top that off, as I was looking for words from Ernest Holmes that had to do with gratitude and thanksgiving, the reading starts off, if we wish to come to Spirit for the healing of our wounds, let us come in peace and spontaneous joy, for the Spirit is joy. And I was like, okay, really? If we wish to come to Spirit for the healing of our wounds, we come in peace with spontaneous joy. And I thought, well, I don't know about you, but when I've been wounded, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, I don't usually feel real joy, for one thing, nor very peaceful sometimes. The reason I go to Spirit is I want to have the healing so I can feel joy and peace. And yet Ernest Holmes is saying that's the way we approach Spirit in order to get that healing. So I kept reading. The next part of that quote is, let us come with thanksgiving also, for a thankful heart is in harmony with life. And so that's when I thought about the idea that maybe that's the key, because I kept asking myself, first of all, how do I come to Spirit in joy, spontaneous joy, and peace? And then how do I follow this thou shalt not covet, the how do we do this? And so that next sentence of thanksgiving is what really spoke to me. I can shift into feeling gratitude, even if it's just by forcing myself to read something like what I shared, as I start thinking about what I'm grateful for. And that grateful heart, I realized, is what starts to shift us into a different space. And as that happens, as I started thinking about what I'm grateful for, then the peace and the joy followed naturally. And so I really believe that it's that gratitude that's the key. So that gets me back to this idea of gratitude for others and how it is that we might feel gratitude for others. And I thought back to my experience when I was taking psychology in college. And a lot of the things that we studied, a lot of the studies that I was reading at that time, talked about how when a human or another animal witnesses trauma in another human or another animal's life, that it causes sometimes even more trauma in the person witnessing than the person that experienced it. And at least there's a match, that there's this experience of trauma just by witnessing trauma. And so I thought to myself, well, if we witness trauma, and that equals the experience of trauma, why is it then that if we witness good in someone else's life, that we can't experience good in our lives? That it can't bring that same level of impact? So I did a little research, and I found an article that was written in 2013 called The Science Behind the Joy of Sharing Joy. The author is a PhD whose first name is Emma and whose last name I won't even try to pronounce. So if you want to see it, you can see the article. But I like the title, The Science Behind the Joy of Sharing Joy. And she starts off by saying, positive experiences happen to us every day, yet we don't always take full advantage of them. And she gives the example of how we can get up and we can have a lovely breakfast, we can have a good day, we can enjoy our day at work, and then she says, but that it takes just one harsh word from someone or one piece of bad news to ruin the whole day. Can anyone relate to that concept? She said that the research by Shelley Gable and Jonathan Halt suggests that we actually have 3 times more positive experiences than negative. So what keeps us from fully capitalizing on all the good in our lives, making us a slave instead to the bad? And then she goes on to say that research has shown that there are 2 tendencies that we tend to have as humans that cause us to keep us from experiencing, extending, and expanding our joy. And those 2 things are the negativity bias and habituation. So the negativity bias is, she said, our mind's innate tendency is to give more weight to the negative. And that's where I thought our teaching can really help. I think that's what is part of what draws a lot of us to this, is our focus is on the positive. We focus on trying to bring more awareness to the positive and what it is we want in our lives, what we're experiencing in the good, gratitude, in a way that doesn't allow for that negativity to take more weight, even though that's, for some reason, our human tendency. The second, habituation, she said, this has to do with while we receive boosts of happiness from new positive experiences, over time, we get used to these experiences and they no longer have the same effect. So if you think about when you get something new and how exciting it is, or maybe you get into a new relationship and there's all that excitement, and as you get habituated to that experience or having that in your life, the excitement and that extra jolt of happiness tends to wear off, and that's what they're referring to as the habituation idea of what happens in humans. So her question was next, and mine was also, how is it that we could then get more benefit from our good experiences? What do we need to do so that we can really gain from the 3 times more good that shows up in our life than the negative? She says, we often are reluctant, this is a stumbling block she mentions, we're often reluctant to talk about our good fortune because we don't want to show off, we don't want to jinx ourselves, or we may feel guilty that good things are happening to us in the face of the suffering that exists in other people's lives. And I thought about that in line with this idea that I was contemplating around what happens when somebody else has the good showing up in their life and I'm witnessing it. So if you're sharing your good with me and I go into envy and jealousy and all that yuck, that's not going to encourage you to share your good with me. And that's why I think we tend to clamp down on it. Oh, well, I don't want to share that. It might hurt their feelings or upset them or whatever. And yet, she says, bonding over complaints, Commiseration or even gossip somehow feels more proper, realistic, and grounded. However, Lambert and colleagues' research suggests that describing our happy experiences to close friends and romantic partners is a better idea. And they actually did research on that. She said, our ability to connect with others boosts our altruistic tendencies, makes us optimistic and happier, decreases envy and materialism, and even improves health for people with physical ailments. So essentially, if we can learn to share our joy with others and encourage others around us to share their joy with us and move into gratitude with them, it's actually better for us all the way around. It can help us boost our own energy as well as theirs. There's more in the article, but it's the conclusion that I want to share with you now. The bottom line, she said, sharing our joy increases joy. Telling people about our happiness has a far greater benefit than just remembering it or writing it down for ourselves. Further on, she says, our well-being influences that of those around us by 3 levels of separation. So if I make you feel good, you're going to make somebody else, and it goes out 3 levels of separation. To try and be happy may seem like a selfish endeavor, but it is actually a worthwhile goal to pursue, not just for oneself, but for our community. In turn, we can help support others' joy by encouraging them to share their most positive experiences and the things they feel grateful for. So I hope that that's what we do, not just this month, but ongoing, as we encourage each other to share that which we're grateful for and what gives us joy. Her concluding sentence is, Albert Schweitzer, a German physician and Nobel Peace Prize winner, was right when he said, happiness is the only thing that multiplies when you share it. So again, my question to myself and to all of us, why do we allow ourselves to feel bad, jealous, envy, or covetousness, I don't know if that's a word, when others are experiencing good? When knowing that we are one and that in our oneness, can we allow ourselves to move into gratitude? Allow ourselves to feel that joy when we see what's going on for someone else, and that'll enhance our own experience of joy. When I started thinking about this, I got really excited about the idea, and for some reason it kept coming to me, can we begin to picture a world where not only do we strive to create liberty and justice for all, but where we're able to practice a feeling of genuine gratitude for all, as they experience their liberty and justice and other good things that show up in their lives. So I want to remind you that in your chairbacks is not only a prayer request card, but we also have gratitude cards. They're a little smaller, and they start off with different phrases. But I encourage you to grab one of those gratitude cards and share with us, share with the prayer team, what works for you, what you're excited about, what you're grateful for, because it enhances our joy as we're doing the prayer work to hear about the good that's showing up in your lives. And you could do that every Sunday. That would make us real happy. So I'm going to leave you with just a few thoughts to ponder. Where does jealousy go when we move into gratitude for what that person has and is experiencing? Where does envy go? Where does the competitive nature go when we start feeling happiness for our comrades? This whole talk literally was inspired the moment I read that sentence, and I hadn't even finished the article. And then I went back to finish the article, and I read, this is their conclusion. If, as Brown says, our greatest strength is indeed our sense of community, the question then is, how do we keep our communities safe? And his answer, through finding one another, he asked. Don't we end up back at ourselves, back at our work? And isn't that the work of singing and praising? So here we are, once again, as we think about feeling gratitude or happiness for others, we find our way back to ourselves because we are all one. And the work is to move into that space of singing and praising, which comes when we feel gratitude for someone else. So I thought, wow, if that's our work, in other words, our work is to experience joy. Isn't that what you feel when you're singing and praising? So let's take our gratitude practice up a notch and allow ourselves to open to feeling grateful for all the M&Ms that other people have, so that we can do that great work of singing and praising. Yes? Yes, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you, Randy. So I'm going to ask the practitioners to please surround this room as we move into prayer and meditation. And I, for one, am grateful for all the practitioners we have serving us. Thank you. So I'm going to invite you to go within and bring into mind someone in your life who maybe has something or is doing something that you've always wanted to do. Maybe they've accomplished, maybe they have a relationship or a possession that you would really love to have. And as you picture that in your mind's eye, allow yourself to feel their joy. Allow yourself to feel happy for them. Allow yourself to move into gratitude. Because what I know is that there is one life, one God, one love that is expressing joy and peace and harmony and good through all of us. And it is in that space of awareness, of recognizing the truth of that being that moves in and through each and every person, every animal, every plant, that is the life itself on this planet and beyond, we can shift into gratitude for all the good that shows up wherever it is. And as we allow ourselves to shift into gratitude for that great good that's showing up all over the planet and beyond, I can feel the smile on my face, and I hope you feel a smile on yours. I am grateful for the realization that gratitude is not just about me. It's about what is happening in everyone's lives. I'm grateful for knowing that as they share their joy with me, I can experience joy. I can release any feelings of judgment, jealousy, envy, covetousness. I release and shift and allow the joy of the beauty that shows up in this world, in all people's lives, to fill me, to lift me up, and move me into singing and praising. And so it's with gratitude that I release these words and see this gratitude moving in and through our lives this month and beyond, as together we say, and so it is. And thank you, practitioners.
I thank the girls who shut me out when I was 17. I thank the ones who chose to laugh and those who acted mean. I thank the bullies for all their scraps and accidents and then some. They shaped my life, they made me like who I've become. And I thank the boys who gave their hand and showed me how to dance. I thank the ones who laughed and passed and never gave a second glance. I learned that it's okay for some to go and some to stay. They shaped my life, they made me love who I am today. And I know life is good. I know I thank the captains of the boats who braved the seas. I thank the farmers for the sowing of the seeds. I thank the men who paved the roads that I am traveling on. They shaped my life, they took me down the path I've gone. They shaped my life, they took me down the path I've gone. I thank the volunteers for giving up their time for free. I thank the engineers and all those who keep our water clean. I thank the janitors for all their years behind the scenes. They shaped my life, they taught me generosity. They shaped my life, they let me see who I could be. And I know life is good. I thank the galaxy for how it made up gravity. I thank the sky above for hosting clouds that float on top of me. They gave me air to breathe, they give me rain, they give me snow. They shaped my life, they gave me so much room to grow. And I thank the frogs and daddy long legs and the bees. I thank the microorganisms under every tree. Thank the fertile soil for the life behind the food I eat. They gave me life, they gave me possibility. They gave me life, they gave me possibility. I thank the girls who shut me out when I was 17. I thank the ones who chose to laugh and those who acted mean. I thank the bullies for all the names they called along the way. They shaped my life, they made me love who I am today. They shaped my life, they made me love who I am today. And you shaped my life, you make me love who I am today.
Beautiful, thank you. And I love that when Mary Lynn sings, I understand all the words. That's a lot of words, and that was beautiful.
This is Jason Mraz. He's very wordy.
Yeah, that was
It's
great.
good words.
And I know that 3 of the people that served yesterday at the Renaissance Fair walked in after we thanked them, so I want to thank you again. Edie and Nancy and Pam were there as well. Carrie was there, Kay was there, so thank you all for helping. It's a wonderful thing, I think, when we come together with another community, with Temple Bethel, and just work together. It gives us that experience of broadening our community, so I'm grateful for that as well. And we have received gratitude from the Safe Haven Animal Sanctuary for the tithes that we gave them last month. At the end of September, we held our first low-cost community spay-neuter clinic since January of 2020, and we were able to spay or neuter 177 cats and dogs in 3 days. The demand, yeah. The demand for these services has greatly increased since the onset of COVID-19, as many veterinarians were doing fewer surgeries and several were not able to take on new clients. Unfortunately, but not surprisingly, it appears that the unwanted pet population has increased as a result. So they are very grateful. They handwrote, "Thank you so much for your support," that we're supporting them in that endeavor, and that obviously serves us as well. Isn't that amazing how this stuff works? So in November, our tithe recipient is Weed and Seed. And this was also a community-based outcropping from several members in the community and the Las Cruces Police Department and Las Esperanzas members. They started the Safe Haven Weed and Seed program designed to help the at-risk youth in our Mesquite Historic District, which is just right over here, to weed out the problems and sow the seeds, to guide our youth to becoming responsible citizens and members of our community. So 10% of all that we bring in this month is going to support the Weed and Seed program. So I hope through all of this, we are grateful that we're feeling blessed today. I certainly am. And I'm going to practice what I preach throughout the month, and I hope you share with me if you have any similar experiences. So let's just repeat after me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, in me. And so it is.
We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed.
So thank you again. Thank you for being such an amazing community and for all your support and for all that we are doing as a community for our greater community. Thank you. Let's stand and sing our closing song and just send some of that love around the room.
I leave here in peace. I step out in love. I know everything I need is part of you. And I will not speak until I first think, is it kind and true?